In this video, we will be learning the purl stitch. The purl stitch is basically the opposite of a knit stitch, and everything is opposite. Instead of our yarn being in back of the needle, we actually have our yarn in front of the needle. And instead of your needle going behind the stitch behind the second needle, okay, remember our working needle is still in our right hand, it's all going to go from the front, in front of the yarn loop and in front of the needle. But we are still going to wrap our yarn in a counterclockwise, think of the face of a clock, a counterclockwise direction, as we then pull that through the loop and then off. So that is the same as a knit stitch. So we're in front, we're wrapping, we pull our new stitch through and our old stitch off the needle. There we go. And now you'll notice that I am using my thumb. This is just my preferred way. In the beginning, there's so many things our hands are doing that sometimes it's easier just to separate it. Wrap up and around. If you can hold it, it might make it easier to pull back through and then off. And then if you have to tighten that stitch afterwards, you can. But I usually do a wrap of my finger, and then I use my thumb to control that working yarn. So I'm going to put my needle through, hold it down, and then I can just go to the next one. And I let the yarn drag across my finger like that, but it does keep a nice even tension. Don't want it to be too tight. And up we go. Now, if I were going to be going back and forth and doing a knit and then a purl, I might hold my fingers differently to make it a little quicker. So another common mistake we want to be watching for, again, we're keeping the yarn in front, but not up and over, right? Especially that first one, it's easy to kind of create that little double stitch there. We want it to be the stitch, so it's down. And so maybe you leave it down until you get your first stitch on there, and then you can position your fingers. And I'm going to do my wrap and continue on this way. Now, if I was going back and forth, I would hold my fingers as if I were knitting like this, and I will put this through and use this finger to pull down the yarn. And then I could move my yarn to the back to do a knit stitch, because remember, when we knit, everything's behind. When we purl, it's all in front. So that is a good way to remember how we're purling, and that is the purl stitch. Now you have all the skills you need, except for casting off, to make something. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite little books here. This book is, I learned to knit from this book. I actually went to a friend's house, and she had all of her Christmas stockings lined up in a row. Now, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be Christmas stockings, but I've made a lot of the patterns in this book, and it does give you a description of how to do the different stitches. Here's their little casting on. They're doing the long tail casting that I described. They talk about how to do increases. So as you read a pattern, it might ask you to do something that you haven't learned before, but this book will show you how to do everything that's in this book. So that's why I appreciate it. I've made I pretty much made everything in this book. Little mini socks, and I've made as well the big stockings. I've made this one, I don't know, 5 times, 6 times maybe. Super cute. Many different colors. You choose your own colors. And it's a great book. So highly recommend it. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you feel confident in your purling ability. And I hope that you will come back and look at some of my future videos. This is not just a knitting channel. It's crafting of all kind, but I'm in a little knitting jag right now because the holidays are coming up and I'm getting ready for them. So like and subscribe, and we'll hope to see you in the next video.